Hi, and welcome back to week 12. I promise a much shorter, focused video this time, simply over the third response paper. Okay, I'm about halfway finished grading your second response paper, and I'm not seeing a lot of different mistakes. I am seeing a single very common mistake inherent in most of the papers I've read so far, and that is just trying to cover too much material, trying to cover too much ground for a short paper like this. You can remember we talked about focusing, narrowing the focus just to one specific aspect of the paper. So I revised the topics a little bit, or the wording of the assignment, so that will help you. You'll notice that the third response paper says to select one of the following topics: any single specific aspect of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, or any single specific aspect of the Inferno, or any single specific aspect of the general prologue by Geoffrey Chaucer. So if I were doing the first one, Sir Gawain, I would probably focus on his decision to keep the garter, or maybe his finding of the Green Chapel. Maybe I would focus just on the obstacles he went past to get to the Green Chapel, but pick one specific, like maybe one specific piece of dialogue or one specific thing that happened, maybe just his armor. As you know, there's lots and lots of biblical allusions to Sir Gawain's armor, and maybe explain some of those or react how you feel about that or how his audience might have felt about that. Um, of course, now this was written during the medieval period, and it may have been written by a member of the church, because members of the church could read and write. It was probably written by a clerk, a secretary for Sir John of Gaunt, who could also were often the only members of court who could, or the court who could read and write. But it's another example of literature, just like Beowulf, where somebody went back and added religious aspects to the story. Obviously, more so in Beowulf, but could have also happened in Sir Gawain. But be sure to read it carefully and enjoy it. It's really a great thing. If I were going to do the Inferno, gosh, I don't know. Satan, his appearance, um, maybe Dante's encounter with one specific sinner, what his sin was, what his place in hell was, why you think Dante decided to put him there. Um, I remember there were a bunch of bad popes who were buried head down, like in a long tube, literally on top of each other, constantly spinning in fire or sulfur. Not very pleasant either way. Or one specific aspect of the general prologue, which is just an introduction to the Canterbury Tales. So maybe pick the little part about the wife of Bath or the knight, or just his explanation of the rules of the contest or the contest itself. Be sure you don't want to retell the story. The paper is due no later than Sunday, April 19th at 11:55 p.m. And please, there are two PowerPoints or handouts, I think, in this same tab called Writing Assignments, this module. One is called Format, and one is called Essay Structure. Look over those, especially the format. That's an easy one. You don't want to be giving up those easy points, so be sure you get the heading and the format correct. Look over the essay structure. This is probably something you learned in English 1301 or 1302, probably learned it in high school, but be sure you've got thesis, topic sentences, transitions, specific details, introduction and conclusion, all that essay writing stuff. Okay. My best advice to you is to read the source material very, very carefully, because you really don't want to make mistakes. If you were to tell me that Satan in the Inferno was this pleasant looking gentleman with a pitchfork and a ponytail, yeah, you're going to lose a lot of points, because that's not the way the poem describes him. If you were going to tell me Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, that the Green Knight rode in on a golden horse, again, that's just factual error. So read the story carefully enough that you get the facts straight, and as you work on your paper, let me know when you have questions. I look forward to reading what you got to say.